Deion Sanders did what everyone thought he was going to do. He went to the HBCU, built them up, left as soon as the bag came calling from the white schools. He just left the HBCUs out to dry. He didn't give a damn about them. And he used them for his own benefit. I know that's what y'all want me to say, and that's the position you want me to have, but I just don't have it. Congratulations to you, Deion, on your new job at Colorado. As an athlete, I'm happy that you were able to make the switch over from being a player to a coach, and you're advancing in your profession. But it's not all good. It's not all sweet. It's not all love. HBCUs are definitely in trouble. Year after year, conferences are getting realigned. Teams are leaving. Schools are leaving. Not a whole lot of money going around the HBCU pot. Jackson State definitely benefited from having Deion. They probably made as much money as they possibly could have made during that time. He grew that program amazingly, got them a SWAC championship, undefeated season. He did it all. He completed the mission in terms of bringing to the top and getting some money into the school and get some facilities built and bringing awareness to the program. He did not say that he was just going to leave at the very first job opportunity that came calling. He said that God sent him to Jackson State to save it, build up HBCUs, and bring JSU out of the dungeon. It didn't last as long as people thought or hoped it would, but that's Deion's life. It's his career. He decided to move on to Colorado. What I will be critical about with Deion is that he left when the first Power 5 job came, and that was Colorado. Colorado is arguably the worst Power 5 football program in the country. They are terrible. In the past 20 years, the program has had 3 winning seasons. 2 of them in 2004 and 2005, and then one really great season in 2016 where they won 10 games. Outside of that, you're looking at 5 or 6 wins max. To make the job even worse, it's a good school academically. And I know y'all are confused, like that should make the job better, that it's a good, academic institution. But that makes recruiting harder. Because a lot of times in terms of recruiting athletes, you're trying to recruit, students that may not necessarily get into school based on their academic success, but because of their, athletic abilities. And they might have the minimum grades, required to get into school. You can't really expect every ESPN 300 player to also have a 30 ACT and a 4.1 GPA. Like, that's not how it goes. So it makes it harder to recruit and get certain guys into their school. I did hear that they're going to be more lenient on the transfer rules at the school. They're going to try to make it easier for guys to come in through the portal, which is obviously because they're trying to, really invest into the football program. Also with that, they are bad financially. Just like how everyone talks about HBCUs and how HBCUs don't have no money. Colorado ain't got money like that either. Articles I read were saying like foreign players were thinking that some of the biggest pitfalls and why the Colorado program hasn't been able to compete is financial issues. That's like one of the biggest things. And even the AD himself at a press conference or interview or whatever I saw on ESPN said that they don't even have the money to give Deion right now. Maybe that's just because they haven't actually, got together with the boosters, but they ain't really got money like that. Even though they paid Deion, I think, $5 million a year. Deion moving on from Jackson State was going to happen at some point regardless. He's a Florida State grad. He went to Florida State. He didn't go to Jackson State. He didn't go to HBCU, went to PWI. You can't really expect him to sacrifice his whole coaching career by just staying and sticking it out at Jackson State or any other HBCU just, for the sake of saving and promoting HBCUs when that's not even where he's from. So no, I'm not surprised that he left. But that brings me to the thing that really made me want to do the podcast, because I really didn't want to speak on it because I didn't feel like I needed to say anything. There was other people having their opinions, and I really didn't want to get into that about was he right or wrong or what he did was good for black people, bad for black people. That type of discussion. I didn't want to do that. But I was very disappointed that Deion took the Colorado job because I was expecting Deion to take the Auburn job. And from everything that I've looked up and heard, like they were talking, but I don't know if they even gave him an offer. They went and decided to hire Hugh Freeze instead. Auburn's new head coach, Hugh Freeze, coached in SEC before. He coached at Ole Miss, and then he had got fired or resigned and went to Liberty and was coaching there, and he took the Auburn job. Back when he was at Ole Miss, his staff went down and got caught because they were paying players or arranging players to meet people to get paid or, cheating, finding some way to get money into the hands of players to get them to come to school. You know how that thing goes. It's always been like that. But, yeah, he's a cheater, and they got exposed. And he said at first that they didn't do anything. He lied about it, tried to cover it up, said They didn't do anything wrong until they actually got exposed and he was out of there. Also during that time, Hugh Freeze got caught using an escort service. Apparently he was buying prostitutes or whatever off of his work phone. And he got caught and it was bad. It was a crazy story how they went down and how he even got caught. There wasn't even supposed to be an investigation to him. Some other investigation was going on and he ended up getting caught up. And he has a wife and kids and he out here, buying prostitutes and cheating on his wife and family, yeah. Then he goes on to Liberty after all that stuff that goes into Ole Miss. Liberty had a lot of stuff going on with their administration with rape and sexual assault, a lot of stuff going on. And one of the victims, Hugh Freeze, decided to reach out to and say that they were not telling the truth or they were wrong about what was going on and that it didn't happen to them. And the guy that they were accusing of the sexual assault was actually a great guy. And it was despicable. How is a football coach doing that? Reaching out to someone's Instagram DMs, telling them that what they went through was not true, is beyond my belief. I can't believe he did that. I was surprised when I read the article. And the thing about that situation is that Hugh Freeze didn't apologize to her when he realized he was doing wrong. He apologized when he got exposed and when she showed the world what he was doing, showing the messages. When the media backlash came, that's when he wanted to apologize and say he was wrong. He didn't really feel remorse. He knew what he was doing, but he knew that he had to say something to save face. I say this to give you a depiction of what type of guy Hugh Freeze is and what type of resume he has in terms of his character. Auburn decided to hire this guy and not Deion Sanders. For what reason? If Deion Sanders had any of the stuff going on that Hugh Freeze had, he would never be considered for a Power 5 job like Auburn. And obviously Deion Sanders didn't get the job. In my personal opinion, I don't think that any black football coach would be considered for the job that had half the baggage that Hugh Freeze has. That's just how things operate at Auburn, in that part of the country. That's where I'm from. I'm from 35 minutes away from Auburn. I'm not surprised at all. That's how they do things. They're going to hire people that make them comfortable. They're not going to hire the best candidate. They're going to hire the candidate that makes them comfortable. And also the candidate they can control, because at Auburn, they got boosters that control everything money-wise. They buy out the coaches. They pick the next coach. They boss the coaches around. From everything I heard, they got some boosters over there that run the show. And I'm pretty sure that Deion himself didn't even want the job when he figured out he was going to have those people telling him what to do. Because Deion has a strong personality. He's not finna be somebody's do-boy and let them tell him what to do when he knows better than them. That's just not who Deion is. And if you think I'm just, race baiting or something, nah. I personally know how things go on in that part of the country, being that I'm from there. And also, if you just look at these news articles that I'm about to pull up and show you, just look at these news articles. Now, this article is from the Montgomery Advertiser. Montgomery is probably 30, 45 minutes from Auburn. It says, Auburn didn't have to roll the dice on a coach with no FBS experience. The Tigers tapped a proven winner when they plucked Hugh Freeze from Liberty as their next coach. Freeze arrived on the plains with enough baggage to require a porter, but no one questions his coaching acumen or his recruiting chops. He should quickly reestablish the Tigers as a player in the SEC. First off, when they just make the shot saying that Auburn didn't have to roll the dice on a coach with no FBS experience, going straight at Deion's neck, that tells you right then and there that they didn't want Deion as the coach, that reporter. And then they go on to say Freeze arrived with enough baggage to require a porter. It's not just baggage. He is a bad person. He's been in scandals here. Think about this. If this is what has been exposed of what he's done, just imagine what he has done and continues to do that has not been exposed. And then they want to go on and say that no one questions his coaching acumen or his recruiting chops. First of all, your coaching acumen and recruiting chops is basically tied together in college, because if you don't got the players, you're not going to look like a good coach. And as I said with the scandals, he got caught cheating. Those players that he got when he was having success at Ole Miss, he cheated and got them. It wasn't just because he's this great guy they bought into. They gave them money. They gave them dreams. He cheated. He's a cheater, and that's why he was successful the first time. And he went on to Liberty, a non-FBS program, and he had more success, which you don't care about Montgomery advertiser, Jake Crandall. Anyway, so from the success that you value, he only got that from cheating. Freeze is a Southern bred and established winner at every level who took Ole Miss to back-to-back New Year's Six Bowls. Southern bred. You know what that means. And Deion Sanders is Southern bred himself. He's from Florida. But there's another article on 247 that gives the real reason, why Deion wasn't hired. It says, when you get some of these people who almost act like they're GMs with college programs, the brokers, feel like they want to have some control and some influence. And a lot of those coaches who they go golf and who they kind of get on the phone when they need to, I think they feel like they have a little bit of control. Deion Sanders doesn't need to kiss their ring. Deion Sanders probably won't kiss the ring. And I think because of that, and also because of, quite honestly, Hugh Freeze is coaching SEC, they know he can win. So they want someone that will be their do-boy, will allow them to run the show, and someone that they're comfortable with and has coached the SEC. That's what they wanted, and that's what they got. I'm an Auburn football fan, so I'm going to support the team. I support the players, but I don't really care for Hugh Freeze. Didn't care for the last coach as well. Not because he's a bad guy, I just think he was a good fit for Auburn. But yeah, that's what I had to say about the whole Deion Sanders situation. I was more inclined to speak because of how Auburn handled the situation, and I felt like I need to say something. Good luck to them both on their upcoming seasons and recruiting, and I wish them nothing but the best. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, this bonus episode of the podcast, and I appreciate you guys each and every week that y'all tune in whenever I drop content.
If you're a trainer looking to take your business to the next level, Jimble's got you covered. Scheduling, streamlined bookings, and payments make it easier than ever for you to focus on the important things. The team at Jimble created a platform that connects its users to athletic facilities, training, and events. So if you're looking for a better way to run your business and engage your community, tap in. You can find us at jimble.us. That's GYMBLE.us, or on Instagram at JimbleApp.